so serious, isn't he?
He's grown up so much. He's so mature. You know, I can't get over how his behavior's changed, and he's so sits so patiently.
The teacher point of view.
The teacher's point of view.
Read it now.
Read it.
Oh, look at him. Look at his eyes.
Happy birthday, Jimmy Nelson.
Jimmy
This is AJ. Happy birthday,
Jimmy
Jimmy.
Name?
I wonder what that is. Okay, with our photographic paper.
Fox in the house.
Who?
Fox in the house.
Fox in the house.
Oh boy.
You wanted to rent that
In the
video.
house.
Yeah. Now you have
Maybe
your
you get
own.
it for your birthday.
Oh, Fox in the house. Oh.
In the house. Yeah. What? Fox in the
Fox in the
house.
house.
Michelle can't wait to watch it.
Sorry, got the same page.
Yeah, dinosaur. I saw that. So I said, Derek, is that ours? I didn't look like ours.
Jeez, Michelle.
Can't wait. Can't watch it yet, Michelle.
Start down here.
Nephew.
Another box.
Of the Lowe's. I know.
Okay, who's it from?
AJ, Ernie, and Rubber Ducky think that they are very lucky because they're bringing wishes to a very special boy like you. Happy birthday, hugs and kisses, Aunt Tina.
Who?
Aunt Tina.
Oh.
And a bathing suit, AJ.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
That's nice.
The hottest dude on the beach this
Yeah,
summer.
boy, he's got everything.
Cute. No, yes, he will be starting preschool in the fall. This will be a nice stuff to get him started.
Here, there's one more. There's another one here, Erica. What's mine?
Who's that from?
Is supercharged with fun. Happy birthday, love, Uncle Mark and Aunt Jan.
Oh, look at who's on the front of that.
Open it.
Meet George Jetson.
Daughter Judy.
His boy, daughter Judy. The boy.
You're too young to remember that. Oh, the dark Play-Doh.
That's the Jetsons, the next generation.
Talking camera. Push the button.
Say cheese.
I'll be darned.
Sounds like AJ.
Who's that from?
That's Uncle Jan.
Aunt and Aunt Mark. Oh, that is cute.
You have to take our picture, AJ.
Yeah. Oh, boy, that's nice.
Hurry up on the kids. I'm not taking the both off.
This one? Bubbles?
Now, who's that
That's
from?
the video camera. Oh, that's cute.
It's like a six.
That's yours? Okay. You want to see? Oh, you just wait.
Smile.
Oh, that's cute. You should have seen him when Michael had the Pinewood Derby. He took his video camera that you got him for Christmas, and he made all kinds of friends. All these little kids can follow him around. He had a toy video camera.
That's cute.
No, that's my camera. Another camera. That's saving bond.
What do we got here? What is that? That's a car phone?
It plays music.
Cordless phone.
Car.
Aww.
I think you're.
That's clever. Robert, let me see that.
Here, AJ, you got a card to open. Look.
AJ. Money. Wow! Hi AJ, how are you? You're 1 year older and a year more special too. So here are birthday wish for you. Happy birthday, lots and lots of love from Papa. Makes him laugh. Happy birthday.
Papa and Bubba. Yeah. That's savings one.
Where's your money?
Who's that?
Well, this one is it. pound button rings the phone.
How much did you get? $10?
Oh, wow.
$25.
Gee Louise.
About those cards now, Hallmark is hot.
Birthday boy is what?
Yeah, Mark was
Birthday bear, behind the door is counting quickly.
Those ones.
What's he say? I was thinking about the
When
book.
he's through, it'll pop out. This is cake for you. Happy first birthday. That's the look of a baby cake.
Well, that's what I did.
Oh, shark attack.
What is it? Bowling game.
No.
What do you tell everybody, AJ?
You're a chef at a wedding with one of
That's
them.
all you're supposed to say. Will you tell
What do you tell
everybody? Say, everybody, thank you for my birthday present. You're Oh, boy, you got a lot of nice things, AJ. Go look at Daddy.
Watch the birdie.
AJ,
Say
look at
hi.
Daddy.
Stay away.
I don't want to wave up. AJ, come here.
You don't want to wave? You guys
AJ.
have to write your name.
Toys R Us doing. Yes, some guy right before us bought like 5 or 6 of them. What did she say?
No, she said she sold 5 or 6
Well, I
tonight.
thought one person bought them.
This is a popular item.
That's the real one.
Say hello.
Say hello.
Come here. George.
Help provide free care to needy kids.
Do I like Tylenol? Yeah. For fever, backache, yeah. For headaches, Tylenol helps, but sometimes not enough. So I found something that relieves my headaches better. Excedrin. If you don't believe me, medical research will tell you Excedrin works better for headaches than Tylenol. Now, I'm not saying give up Tylenol for fever and stuff. I wouldn't. But if something's better for relieving headaches, you use it for headaches.
Excedrin, the headache medicine.
I'm so weak and cold. All my powers are drained. I can't go on. What's this? Something warm. I feel the strength returning to my body. It's a miracle.
A miracle! I feel like myself again!
A hot lunch with Campbell's Bean with Bacon Soup is a good source of protein and iron.
Now I can go save the world!
Re-energize your kids with Campbell's. Campbell's.
So you switched from whole milk to skim and you're eating granola?
Oh, don't tell me.
Yep, it's loaded with fat. But Kellogg's low-fat granola has half the fat and every ounce of the taste. For today's granola fans, Kellogg's low-fat granola, now without raisins too.
AT&T says MCI only saves you pennies. So we just wanted to remind you how fast pennies add up.
This is a MasterCard, okay? Doesn't make you special. Actually, maybe it does. I mean, right now, the Master Values program can save you up to 25% on all kinds of stuff. You just get the Master Values coupon thingy from your statement, go to one of the stores on the list and say, hey, I got a MasterCard, how about a deal? And they'll say, for you, no problem. So I guess MasterCard really does mean you're special. Just don't let it go to your head. MasterCard, it's more than a credit card, it's smart money.
Look in your store for even more Master Values coupons and special offers from Canada Dry.
Four-wheel, fully independent suspension. 24 valves, 214 horses. Speed proportional steering. Four-wheel ABS and computerized traction control. And cab-forward design for greater stability. At last, an American luxury car that can make these feel like invitations instead of warnings. Presenting the Chrysler LHS, an eloquent expression of form following function.
Return to Lonesome Dove. Sponsored by Chrysler Plymouth, the makers of the new cab-forward designed automobiles. Get in on the fun later with Dave, his guests Bob Dylan, Charles Kuralt, Billy Connolly, and more on tonight's Late Show with David Letterman. Thanks for making CBS America's most watched network. Now get ready for your local news.
Hello, I'm Stacy Smith.
And I'm Patty Burns. Coming up next, would you pay a higher sales tax to fund things like the ballet? If you live in...
Sing Flashy! Sing Flashy! Yeah, that's what we sing. Oh, that's good, Flashy. That's very good. I'll do it again later. Oh.
Oh, why don't you get on the other side?
Hey. Hey, Bob.
It's hooked to the basket.
Oh, a kite.
Wow, what kind of kite is that one?
Race horn. A race horn.
Race car one. What kind of kite did you get in? You were flying kites today. Oh, you got a Thomas engine kite.
Alright, get the thing off.
Oh, look at this pretty little lamb. Oh, how cute. Let's see what else we got. Bonnie. And that one's going on.
Hey, Michelle, help him get his...
Yeah. When the candy's emptied out, you put the chicky and the egg in it, and Mom keeps it big.
Oh, no.
You get back to Grandma so she can
Egg,
go next
it's a
year.
robin egg.
I like keep the
Look at
chicken.
the little bag.
I would hate the
It's
chicken
a robin
egg.
egg.
Mommy's egg. Chocolate man.
That's that blossom candy.
Bud?
What is that? I need an Easter bunny. Ooh, need another. Somebody said another.
You want to keep this in your room, huh, Michelle?
Yeah.
Oh, God, isn't that cute, Robin? Donnie, don't take a picture of me.
Smile, you're on video.
I don't want to.
There you are, too late. Oh, it's gonna be a wonderful weekend, I can tell.
Hey,
Said I don't want to be on video. I don't
hey, look, and mine.
look at my hair.
I'm looking at it. So what?
Look at Robin's.
What's the matter with it?
Mom,
Is it bad?
it
What's this little window?
it's got it from me.
I did wash the
Mommy,
car,
got it for me.
ran around all day,
Where's your kitty boy?
made huge dinner, washed the dishes, washed the clothes, washed the kids.
What? Kids?
Expect me to look like a raving beauty.
Pretty. Mommy's there, Raven Beauty.
Raving Beauty.
Call me Raven.
Hey, Raven.
That's my stage name.
Are you ashamed of something?
That's honey too.
They don't have much color, so.
Look it out.
Get it all in there, yeah.
Let's do this way. Can we do some? Make some more eggs.
Okay, get some more eggs.
Drop them all in there. Papa! Yes, we got one. Stuff. These are so. God, it's really good. Put it on here.
Background music.
Right on it.
You can re-dip some eggs too if you want to. That's all
Put it in
12.
this one.
That's all the eggs we're going to do like that. The rest of them are going to be. AJ, put them up on the card. Okay.
Oh, to that. Wow, you didn't do that. I can give me one.
What do you think, guys?
Yeah. This one is really good. Mine. Yeah, all brown.
Robert, you done with these colors now?
Yeah, we're done with the colors. Let's do the egg wraps. Here, guys. Put one over.
Let me put mine in.
Boiling hot water.
Yeah.
Wait, AJ. Watch how Michelle does it.
Right here. It's mine that. Oh.
Let mommy put them in there. I don't want you guys to get scalded.
Yeah. Does it just automatically hook on? There's another one that. There's another one that. That thing's gonna melt to it. Mama, this is mine. Mama, this is mine.
So yours.
Mommy. You put it on. Mommy.
Well, this one gets. This has to stay on the egg. Melt it right over the wire.
Mommy.
No.
There's Mom, the expert egg wrapper.
Good egg.
What?
Get a white egg out of there, AJ.
This is his egg.
And you put the egg
Another one.
inside.
Whoa, that was not perfect.
There, look how pretty.
Where's some of those things? Oh, AJ, that's good. Here. Yeah, come on. AJ's is ready.
Alright, this is ready.
Took you forever long enough
Oh, we get
get
to
it
turn
on.
our clocks ahead.
Yeah, tonight, before bedtime. I'm stuck it again. Oh, there we go.
Hey, AJ. The longer you leave them in there, the better. Oh, I think Michael does. Yeah, I think Michael did out. Michael's turned out good. How far we ruined it. Here's what I want.
Your basket's over here. Here's somebody's kite I just sat on.
AJ. Come on. I'm gonna put Happy Easter on my first one.
Let's shrink some. We did that one year.
This is nice. This water must not be hot enough or something. It's not shrinking. It's boiling. Scalding. I don't know why it's not shrinking right.
Oh, that's strong.
I want to put one in.
AJ, you need to get these.
So you may have to wait till the eggs dry before you put those stickers on, Michelle. Here, AJ, is this the wrap you want?
No.
Here, you take an egg and stick stickers on it, okay?
You know, we have a wax crayon.
Yeah, that's for the other car and stuff. Here.
Put eggs in these. RJ, and wait till it dry. Hey, wait till the eggs dry. So I was putting it on that one.
I'll boil some more water. I don't know, 2 more eggs to wrap.
Do you have any more wraps? I don't think so. Where's the ones we brought down?
Where's the other wraps at? Do we use them already?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What's the matter, H?
Probably my is in here. In here.
Can I get...
Already looked. But you didn't look long enough. You just kind of went in there and just like,
Find yours.
It was. I found it. Oh, no, AJ, you put that over there.
AJ?
Yeah,
Listen, look at mommy. What's the problem?
can't find it. I don't really find it.
Come here, let me give you a clue. You already looked there, and it's one of your favorite hiding places.
What? It's in your clubhouse.
In there.
Yeah, I think you looked there before. Go ahead and look again. Maybe you didn't look good enough.
No.
Wait. Open both doors. Are you sure? Uh-oh. 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 Come to Mike. Oh my goodness gracious. Don't lose everything out of there.
Thanks, Michael.
Oh, why did you do what's in there after all?
Mine was like the basic.
Mine is heavy. Mine has been in the video. Oh, boy. Maybe you got that too. I got Batman in the video. Wait, please. I got some stickers. There, I ripped it.
What was that, AJ? Color forms. Michael, did you get yours open yet?
Yeah.
How about you, Michelle?
What?
Got it open? Oh boy, you need chalk, don't you? Michael, show me what you got.
I got a glass.
Ah.
Glasses. I got this. Got a dice book. Got the posters.
Oh, good.
I got this little axe keychain.
Ah.
It's toys.
How about you, Sal?
I got bubbles, earrings, necklace, bracelet,
Oh.
cards, markers in a notebook, tattoo, ponytail, Cinderella paper doll, magic sticker, Barbie paper doll, and postcards.
Oh, good. That's good.
Oh boy.
Now where's Mommy's at?
Jeez.
Where's Mommy's at?
Okay, thanks, Easter buddy.
One, 2, 3. I got one.
Michael, let him get the real obvious ones.
No, they're only going to find 20 and then they're going to come in.
Oh, okay.
I got 9.
There's going to be more left.
12. Yeah? Yeah. When they just peels out 20 eggs, you can count. Two more. Hey, 2 more.
Think that's all, Age. Come on in. Come here. I see one.
Little lad God, the blue-eyed cup of mine, takes out his hand along the way, helping me square into a bag. These busy cups, dear God, grant they true cups may be, for if they fall all cup gold, they won't stray far from thee. Bless all, dear God, who guides and crowns each effort noble true. Sustain the good cub mothers, they need the blessings too. In Cub Scouting, we will have numerous opportunities to work together along the trail.
So what if we cross the bridge?
Has completed the first grade and is leaving the Tiger Cubs to enter the wolves. I am sure you are going to find the same satisfaction there that you have found in the Cub Scouting. To symbolize your son's growth and his entrance into the wolves, I will send you and him across the bridge into your den to meet the den leaders and your Michael, in the years to come, you and your son will be in the Cub Scout, and we will have numerous opportunities to work together along the trail. Now, Mike has completed the first grade and is leaving the Tiger Cubs to enter the wolves. I am sure you are going to have the same satisfaction there that you have found in Cub Scouting. To symbolize your son's birth and his entrance into the world, I will send you and him across the bridge into your death and then later see
I want to watch the bridge, Mom. Mom, I want to watch the bridge.
Yeah.
Okay? Hey, Mom?
No, not now.
All bishoprics. George Seifert. Harley Rawson. Gregory Ramsey. Stephanie Campbell. Amber Criscoma. Kevin Rawson. Dominic Zucchini. Aaron Miller.
Might you bother your camera by going up this way?
Center field. Okay.
You want to go out there in center field, Aaron? Why don't you go out there in center field, man? Okay? No, he does the left field, man. Kevin's there. Kevin's there. Kevin's there.
Kevin's catching.
Kevin's at left.
You make up your mind.
Especially goes for you. Don't throw the back. Did you get that picture? He's already on the base. Where's the ball?
Yay.
Yeah, nice.
Kurt, make sure they don't leave the bags. The ball's good. Ready to go, Harley. Mike. Go, go, go. Run, Mike, run. Run, Mike. Wake up. You ready, Dad?
Don't get in front of me.
Number 9, Michael Pincher.
Good one, Mike. Good one, Mike.
hard-fought, battle-free quality. But let's face it, any couple who's ever fought over the remote control or whether to stop the car to ask for directions knows that men and women just often operate differently. So where does the difference come from? If it's all bred into us by people like toy makers who steer boys toward these trucks, girls to the dolls, and by teachers, parents, employers, all the wicked influences of a sexist society, then maybe this is a social problem that needs to be fixed. But if we're born different, if we think differently because our brains are different, then trying to fix these differences will be pointless, expensive, even hurtful. So which is it? Born, bred, both? Tonight we're going to show you evidence that we're just born different.
What's the difference between men and women, boys and girls? This girl knows about boys.
They're very, very bad.
In fact, these girls are quite clear about it.
I think boys are a pain in the butt.
And the boys know about girls.
Boring. Girls are boring.
Whoa, these are not the correct things to say. This is the age of unisex. And we all know that except for some body parts, men and women are the same, equally able to be good or bad. I learned that from the women's movement. The movement freed us from the absurd narrowness of traditional sex roles.
But it is wretchedly boring to be with little tiny children one end of the day, the other, especially if you think that you should love it.
No longer would women be imprisoned by their role as caretaker. They could get out of the house, run for office, protect society. They could do everything.
Well, tonight has finally come for me.
And men wouldn't have to be breadwinners. We could be house husbands. We could revel in the intimacy of parenting that eluded our fathers and grandfathers. So much changed because of feminism. It's easy to forget how sexist our culture once was.
My horse is cleaner!
Any woman that can get a shirt this clean has to be loved.
This is the kind of stuff that ran when I was a kid, and we just accepted this as normal.
Who does it all? The laundry, the dishes, and tropical fishes.
Gosh, that's what mommies are for.
Of course, lots of women were working, but the message was that it wasn't natural. Better that women should stay home and celebrate the joys of having new appliances.
Me, captain, you, crew. First order.
With brainwashing like that, no wonder few girls had set out to be explorers or doctors or entrepreneurs.
So remember, be a good little Maxwell housewife or somebody walks the plank.
Equal pay for equal work!
What a relief the women's movement was.
Equal pay for equal work! When do we want it now?
Now laws were passed banning discrimination against women. Affirmative action would force companies to give women the jobs they deserve. And now we would raise boys and girls as equals. Each would be free to pursue any role, any career.
Some mommies are doctors.
Some daddies are bakers.
Equal numbers.
Yeah.
50-50.
Absolutely.
Bella Abzug was one of the movement's early leaders.
Just as many women architects, engineers.
Well, yes.
But equal numbers didn't happen. There just aren't as many female engineers and architects today. And women still earn, on average, 25% less than men. And men, well, we still aren't doing all that much around the house.
Why? Why weren't things changing more? I couldn't figure it out. I read in Ms. Magazine that it was because we were still being influenced by our sexist culture.
Busy weekend? Wish there were 10 more of you.
The ads aren't as blatantly sexist, but it's still mom doing the laundry.
Wow!
And look what the kids are still watching.
Mom.
I'll turn on the water.
Time for dinner.
Mega tough, mega cool, mega bot.
Even Sesame Street, the most politically correct of shows. Bert, Ernie, Grover, Elmo, almost all the strong characters are he's. And check out the toy store. The boy toys are in one section, the cars, the trucks, the weapons. And where's the girls section? Look for that sea of pink. That's where the dolls are. Obviously, sexist businessmen are still polluting the children's minds. No wonder we don't have equality between sexes. Patriarchal toy sellers, TV producers, and parents steer the kids into the stereotypical roles.
That's what I was taught, and I believed it, until I had kids.
Ooh, uh-oh.
We treated them the same, but they were just so different. I don't just mean my kids. You'd see it in their friends, too. The girls were, well, more civilized. They'd look you in the eye, talk to you. They cared about your feelings. The boys, well, the boys wanted to go to war. The girls cared more about playing with each other, talking, cooperating.
You'll be the princess, yes?
And they spent lots of time dressing up in frilly clothes. We didn't tell them to. They just focused on being pretty and dainty.
We're both fairies. Me and her are fairies.
There were plenty of exceptions, of course, but the pattern was clear. Kids were acting just like their stereotypes, despite our attempts at sex-neutral parenting.
I refused to give him guns. I would not be the person to arm my child, but he made guns out of carrots and cucumbers. And
we would buy them toys, the same toy.
This woman has twins, one boy, one girl.
They would just treat them differently.
You must have sent them different signals. You encouraged him to be active, her to be nurturing.
No. We gave them each trucks, and she just wouldn't play with the trucks. And he would.
Terry was pleased when her sons picked up Barbie dolls.
And they got their Barbies, took them to the table, and immediately started sword fighting with them. My daughter, on the other hand, took Barbie out of the box and said, "Oh, Barbie, you're so beautiful, but you need more makeup." And I don't even wear makeup.
That's the right word.
Her husband was disappointed, too.
Like, I was really convinced that, you know, I would have nonviolent children for a nonviolent world. And when my boys started, you know, turning bread into guns and banging each other, I felt bad.
Hi, Dinah.
Then their kids joined us. Are they aware of these differences? Well, the older ones know what they're supposed to say.
There is actually no difference between girls and boys. They're actually quite similar.
But the younger kids tell a different story.
Boys are noisier.
And girls?
Yeah. The boys play a lot rougher. I'm glossy, strong.
So maybe toy makers aren't being sexist. Maybe they're just paying attention to their market. People who study the toy business, like advertising age columnist Kate Fitzgerald, say toy makers tried selling predominantly male toys like video games to girls, like this Barbie game. But they haven't had much success. This Cabbage Patch doll for boys named Rough and Tough isn't a hit either.
And they've really tried.
Toy marketers have tried over and over. They'd make twice as much money if every toy was bought equally by girls and boys. But kids aren't buying it.
Toy companies often hire psychologists, like Dr. Selena Goober, to run tests like this one she did for us.
Okay, you look around.
She brings kids to a table of toys and lets them pick out what they want. Invariably, the boys pick action figures like Power Rangers or gross stuff like this Gak.
What would you do with it?
I would throw it at my sister's face.
The girls played with Gak too, but no one talked about throwing it. And I'm sorry, mostly they played with the makeup.
What you see on the shelves is the reality of what has worked. Girls tend to want dolls, girls want pink. Girls are more concerned with the relationships between the characters. Girls want to talk and play and be together. The toy companies have lost millions of dollars in testing and manufacturing toys that they thought would win over the opposite gender. They've only responded to what kids want.
Why are kids still acting today the way they did a generation ago? Is this behavior just innate, something in the kids? Many feminists who launched the women's movement say, no, it's the culture. And we parents are also to blame because no matter how liberated we are, we still treat our kids differently.
Even parents who are very aware, as you are, of trying not to perpetuate gender differences, still pick up and cuddle little girls more than boys. They let boys cry longer, as if to toughen them.
Sexist parenting, she says, is what makes the boys aggressive.
We badly need to raise our boys more like our girls.
If society weren't sexist, the kids would be roughly the same? The boys would nurture the dolls?
I think so. I think it would be very much more interchangeable.
What about those who say there are biological differences?
I think that's a lot of poppycock.
And yet, from the world of science, there are other voices. Quieter voices, perhaps, but a chorus of voices that are saying what parents and others, sexist or not, have been saying for years.
Men and women are not the same.
Psychologist June Reinisch is a former director of the Kinsey Institute.
Equality means that people should have equal opportunities.
It doesn't mean that everybody is the same or that we want everybody to be the same. We'd have everybody being identical and wanting to do the same things and wanting to act in the same ways. It would be devastating to our culture. Difference is good.
And the difference is real, say the scientists, and there from the beginning. It starts in the womb, where we are just biologically hardwired to be different. We'll show you why they say that after this.
Have you ever noticed? Baby girls study faces. Boys are content to look off into space. Is this why most women read people better? Men, women, and the sex difference will continue.
Now there's new Kraft Catalina with honey. Unlike your usual dressing, Kraft adds honey to its tangy Catalina for a sweeter taste that's really different. Just like that nice little salad of yours. Now salads are fun. So is new Kraft Catalina with honey, the fun way to dress.
Hey, if you travel the country like I do, you'd see why Ace is the place. There's people like Melody Passmore in Bullhead City, Arizona. There's no hardware problem she can't answer or handle. Ace is America's place with the helpful hardware folks.
Unlike Jeep, the new Isuzu Trooper comes standard.
But I'm a son. She'll watch me.
Men are obsessed with sports. Women have more friends. A wife is bothered by a dripping faucet. Her husband doesn't even notice. Why? Scientists now say a lot of it comes down to chemistry. Right after the sperm meets the egg, things start to happen that just make us into different kinds of people.
You're driving me crazy.
Okay, this is right, because I remember that house. I think we turn right here.
I don't.
Well, I do. Wait a minute, I'll check it on the map. I don't think this map shows where we are at all.
Women have trouble with maps, but remember landmarks.
See, don't you remember those rocks down there?
No, I don't.
Men won't ask for directions.
We could ask this guy.
He doesn't know where we're going.
If these differences are just stereotypes, why does this sound so familiar?
Yes. No, we shouldn't be going this way.
Today's science suggests there's a biological reason why we fight over directions. Our brains are different. Most men navigate through a vague sense of north and south and distance traveled. Women usually rely on landmarks. We know about these differences thanks to studies like the one done at the University of Rochester, repeated here for our camera. Students are blindfolded and then walk through the maze of tunnels that run underneath the campus. The experimenter stays behind them and guides them with a tap on the shoulder so they don't run into anybody. When the women are asked where a college building is,
can you tell me where Wilson Commons is?
They're not so sure.
That way?
Men, however, retained a sense of what direction they'd moved.
Go through the next doors, take a left, then a right, then a left.
Women, on the other hand, have a better memory for detail. Check out this test.
Have a chair here.
At York University in Toronto, students are asked to wait in a cluttered room while an experimenter gets something ready. Actually, though the student doesn't know it, this is the experiment. How much of the room will she remember? After 2 minutes, the experimenter moves her to another room and asks her.
Tell me every object in that room that you can remember.
Women typically give answers like this.
On the right-hand side of the desk right here was a briefcase with your initials at the top. Then there was a toque with mitts and an IM40 button on it. In the middle there was envelopes, York University envelopes. There was a thing of Clearasil and a Bazooka Joe comic.
We could let her go on much longer.
A thing of perfume. There were scissors and a stapler here.
She remembered just about everything in the room.
There's those 2-pound puppy dogs.
Many of the women did. I find this amazing, but of course, I'm a man, and we men don't do very well on this test.
I remember pound puppies. It was like right here. I don't have a very good memory.
Men and women consistently perform differently. Why would sex make a difference? Well, at conception, we begin life as the same clump of cells, except for the Y chromosome in the male. Certain hormones must be added for that clump of cells to turn out male. Scientists now say that those same hormones make men's brains different. That could explain why our behavior is different. Research on animals showed this years ago. At UCLA, Dr. Roger Gorski found that when female rats, like the white one here, were given the male hormone testosterone, they acted like male rats. They mounted other rats, trying to mate. At the University of Wisconsin, researchers injected testosterone into female monkeys while they were still in the womb. Now, monkeys engage in very sex-stereotype behavior. The males are much more aggressive. They fight, play rough, just like little boys, while the females do all the grooming and nurturing of the children. But when the females that were injected with the testosterone grew up, they didn't groom or nurture the kids. They fought. They behaved just like the males. Now, these monkeys aren't watching sexist TV or going to toy stores. Their sexist behavior is innate. Of course, animals aren't people, and what's true for them may not be true for us. How could we find out if hormones have the same effect on people? It would be unethical to run experiments. But sometimes experiments just happen, naturally. In about 1 out of every 10,000 pregnancies, a genetic defect causes female babies to be accidentally exposed to a bath of the male hormone androgen. They're called CAH girls, short for congenital adrenal hyperplasia. The children are born female. Michelle Spacek, for example. Today, she's happily married and a mother. But all her life, she says she felt different from the other girls.
When I was young, I was a tomboy, I think. I didn't play with dolls. What I see girls doing now, that wasn't me.
If this is a sexist world, then these CAH girls get all the sexist messages other girls get. Yet they don't act like the other girls. There's something in them that's innately male.
I like to split wood. I've target practiced with my husband's guns. I've always been interested in cars.
Girls with CAH are female.
Dr. Sherry Berenbaum has studied hundreds of CAH girls, giving them toy preference tests like the one we showed you earlier with non-CAH kids.
And we compared the CAH girls to their sisters. And we found that the CAH girls played much more with the boys' toys than their sisters. And it showed that hormones affect sex differences in behavior, not just in rats, not just in monkeys, but in people also.
Another thing that suggests men and women are born with built-in differences is that many of them show up so early in life, before the culture could have much effect.
When you talk about sex differences...
Child psychologist Michael Lewis finds differences in 1-year-olds when he runs a test separating a child from its mother. Most boys try to knock the barrier down. Most girls just stand there and cry for help. June Reinisch studied data on thousands of baby girls and boys and concluded there were inborn differences.
Girls sat up without support earlier than boys did. Boys crawled independently away from their caretaker earlier than girls.
One could still argue, of course, that these sex differences happen because of some very early form of sexist parenting. But then how do you explain behavior differences in newborns?
So when they look at babies in the first 72 hours of life, they find that males and females are not identical in the way they behave. Males startle more than females. If you give a little puff of air on their abdomen, they startle much bigger and much more likely to startle than females. And females rhythmically mouth. They suck on their tongues, they move their lips and so forth more than males do.
So could it be that when we treat kids differently, cuddle the girls, toss the boys into the air, that we're not just being sexist? Maybe we're responding to inborn cues from the kids. Of course, if boys and girls are different because of biology, wouldn't the differences show up in research on the brain? Well, recently researchers have found differences in men's and women's brains. This is frozen brain tissue that Dr. Laura Allen's been studying at UCLA.
As I began to look at the human brain more and more, I kept finding differences. And about 7 or 8 out of 10 structures that we actually measured turned out to be different between men and women.
These differences, says Dr. Allen, are most likely due to sex hormones we're exposed to in the womb.
Testosterone kind of rides a roller coaster until birth. We know the first rise of testosterone causes the development of the male sex organs. We don't know what the second rise of testosterone does. I suspect it causes our brains to be different.
Just want you to keep your eyes closed.
And with the help of this scanner, which records brain activity, scientists now also know that men and women use different parts of their brains when thinking about the same things.
You plug the numbers in for the variables?
All these differences could explain why women have better verbal skills, while some studies show men excel at math.
-2.
Evolution suggests theories as to why our brains are different. For 4 million years, men and women did very different things, says anthropologist Helen Fisher.
Women did all the gathering, and so they were collecting tiny seeds and tiny berries.
This may explain why today women have better fine motor skills. And why boys do so well on video games. Evolution led males to excel at mentally seeing things in 3 dimensions.
We see a great many more men who are architects, who are engineers, who are chess players. And more than likely, men choose those because they are, on average, more skilled at all kinds of spatial tasks. Men are better at throwing balls, throwing sticks, throwing stones. All of these spatial, quantitative, visual skills probably come from millions of years on the grasslands of Africa when men set out every morning to track and to surround and to fell their prey and then to sort of pick their way back home. Those that didn't do that died out.
Those who did survived to become our ancestors. Evolution also suggests that women really may be better parents, better nurturers. Certainly, if you look at animals, you see, it's almost always the female who does all the nurturing of the young. Experts say it may be that human females are better equipped for that task, too.
Taking care of young babies is something that maybe women are biologically somewhat more designed for, in some small ways. Their sensitivity to small changes and stimuli.
Women, she says, have better proximal senses, like sensitivity to sound. A drip that drives a woman crazy is often hardly noticeable to a man. Reinisch says this sensitivity may explain why women are better at understanding a baby's needs and good at reading people's emotions.
Just by a slight change in body posture or tone of voice, a woman will know that somebody is uncomfortable or they're angry. This probably comes from millions of years of looking at their small baby that didn't tell them what they wanted, and by visually just picking up all these nonverbal cues, establishing what the baby needed.
All this science suggests that men and women are just innately different, that it's not just our sexist culture at work, it's biology. Gloria Steinem doesn't believe it. In fact, she says this research shouldn't even be done.
It's really the remnant of anti-American crazy thinking to do this kind of research. It's what's keeping us down, not what's helping us.
And feminist lawyer Gloria Allred says we shouldn't even be doing this program about it.
We take attacks from the media on our skills and our abilities and our talents and our dreams very seriously. This is not just entertainment. This is harmful and damaging to our daughters' lives and to our mothers' lives. And I'm very angry about it.
Attitudes like that led colleagues to advise Dr. Allen, don't do this kind of research.
I was told that just really wasn't a good idea because it was politically provocative.
Other scientists have given up the research. One was refused a grant and told this work ought not to be done. But shouldn't we always try to learn about human nature? Those who do the research say it's important.
We must study things that are not necessarily fashionable and try to educate people so that they don't misuse the information.
Misuse the information. That could happen. But right now, maybe it's a lack of information that's led us in some wrong directions. Today, there are elaborate and expensive government policies based on the fiction that men and women are interchangeable, that we bring the exact same skills and aptitudes to the table. What happens when you try to force society to organize itself around a fiction? We'll look at that when we return. About gender differences talked about. Not long ago, similar research was used to keep women out of colleges and to keep women out of all kinds of important jobs, defending the country, for example.
Yes, during World War II, the government did relax its rules to allow thousands of women into the military. But this documentary shows the condescension they faced.
They did a tremendous job. They also made quite an improvement in our parades.
Women underwent regular training, but in skirts, and they were rarely allowed to even try out for important combat jobs.
Get out of here, go blue, go blue.
Today, women train pretty much like the men, and they can participate in most, but not all, combat jobs.
Is that understood? Sergeant, yes, Sergeant!
That's not enough, says Gloria Steinem, because women are just as capable of combat as men.
Women are in combat positions every day in the street. I think what they don't want us to do is to learn how to use guns. I think that, suppose every underpaid waitress and battered wife had 2 years of military training. It'd be very interesting.
But many people argue that women are just not strong enough and violent enough for combat. The Presidential Commission debated the issue. One of the majority who concluded that women were not qualified was Kate O'Byrne of the Heritage Foundation.
How can you say they're not qualified? Modern warfare today is pulling a trigger, pressing a button on a computer. Women can do that as well or better than men.
The real physical demands of combat troops and units remain the same as they have been since warfare began. It's a very heavy business. Victory goes to the strongest and the swiftest.
And women are not fast and strong?
There's not one world-class sport where the best female athletes compete with the best male athletes.
Tests do show that on average, men have twice as much upper body strength as women. So to allow the services to admit more women, the military relaxed the strength tests required. For example, men must now do 42 push-ups, women just 18. Gender norming, they call it.
Yes, you can find some examples where strength and speed are important, but they are clearly a minority.
Not within the military, it's not a minority. I mean, it's the whole reason for existence. The military isn't a unique institution. They're not making widgets. When women really can't quite carry that 85-pound pack all the way back on the forced march, the guys pitch in and help.
The women add things that the women do well. They work together.
It's a problem if one guy's got to now carry 2 packs.
I'm not hearing a lot of these complaints from officers now. The military seems ready to try.
The gender police are patrolling the corridors of the Pentagon. If you express your opinion, you're a hop, skip, and a jump from a sexual harasser. You're putting women down. You're opposed to women's rights.
Lay the weapon down! Lay the weapon down!
This is such a bizarre social experiment. Lives are so at risk. You don't get extra points in the battle for having fielded the fairest army. No, it's kill or be killed.
The killing business is for men.
Combat is a manly pursuit, correct.
Then what is firefighting? Is this a manly pursuit too? For years, firemen said it was, and until 20 years ago, they did not even allow women the chance to compete